An unarmed black man was shot 3 times by a police official in North Miami. Now, luckily, the man who was shot, Charles Kinsey, who is a behavioral therapist, did not die as a result of the gunshot wounds. However, new video has surfaced showing what happened moments before the shooting, and you see him laying in the street with his hands up, and obviously he does not pose a threat. I think you should see it for yourself. Take a look.
He's like, please don't shoot me. But why they shot the black boy and not the fat boy?
You know, because they deal with the blacks, you know.
I don't know who's guilty.
So to give you some more context to the story before you guys comment. So the one laying with his hands up was the man who was shot. Again, that's Charles Kinsey. And he's a behavioral therapist. And the other man that was with him is someone who has severe autism. And apparently he had run away from the group home, and Kinsey was trying to get him back. And at that point, someone had called the authorities and said, I think one of these men is armed. And
I thought the call was that they were suicidal. Did I read that?
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah.
right. So, you know, there was a concern that one of them was suicidal. The cops show up, and interestingly enough, if you think someone's suicidal, why would you think they're a threat, and why would you shoot them? I don't know. But, you know, you can hear him in that video saying he has a toy truck, because he had a toy truck in his hand. He did not want the autistic patient to be confused as someone who had a gun. He got shot in the leg anyway, and here's what Kinsey had to say. When he shot me, it was so surprising. It was like a mosquito bite, and when he hit me, I'm like, I still got my hands in the air. I said, you know, I just got shot. And I'm saying to them, sir, I mean, it's amazing. Why did you shoot me? And his words to me, he said, I don't know.
We've seen that before.
Look, I know this country's divided. And so whenever there's a shooting that involves a police officer, everybody goes to their bunkers and they see what they want to see. But I'm asking you guys, what does a person, you know, they say at the end of the tape, why'd they shoot the black guy but not the other guy? Okay, fair question, but let's leave that out for now. What does a person have to do not to get shot by police? So he's a guy who's helping autistic people. He's as upstanding a citizen as you can have. He's got his hands up in the air. He's on the ground. What does he have to do to not get shot? It's a simple question, and I literally don't know the answer. What could he have done there not to get shot?
Just this morning, I saw an editorial. I'm probably going to get the number wrong, but it was, I was a cop for 9 years, and even I don't know how I'm supposed to act when I'm stopped by cops. And it was from a black cop's point of view, and he said, there's just the overreaction, the lack of even understanding why you're overreacting. The guy said he didn't know why he shot him, and we've heard similar things before. There was the video, the shooting that came right after Alton Sterling, and the woman in the car is asking him why he did that, and the guy is just, he's so terrified that he's not actually thinking, and you just shoot. And we talk all the time about training and how fundamentally wrong our training is for our police, obviously in comparison to the training of some European countries, specifically when it comes to conflict resolution and de-escalation. And people are reacting on emotion. Thankfully, in this case, the guy just got shot in the leg. It would have been very easy for him to be shot in the chest a couple of times. This guy's going to live. He was still conscious as it was going on, able to record his thoughts and all that. But we need some sort of understanding of how these situations are supposed to be handled on both sides. There's the informal training that we always hear about, growing up in this community. I was always told, here's how you're supposed to act. And it's tragic that that training has to go on at all. But these situations are just too common.
So, Philando Castile, the account of the girlfriend is, the cop asked him to get his ID and to put his hands up in the air. Now, you can't follow both those orders. And then when he went to go get his ID, boom, they shot him.
Because he told him.
Because he told him to get his ID.
And he said, I have a gun. I have a license to carry. Fearing that when you see the gun, he'd overreact. So letting him know.
And as a responsible gun owner, you're supposed to, every time you're in contact with police, you're supposed to notify him that you have a firearm, which is exactly what he did.
Most states.
So, this is almost the perfect case of what we talk about, which is not that guy, I have no idea who that cop is. And I'm not anywhere near charging that he's evil, has bad intent, is a racist, is whatever he might be. We don't know that guy. What we're saying is we're training them to shoot too quickly.
That's right.
Can we not agree to that? And when you add the unconscious bias that has been proven in every study, as it turns out, African Americans, and by the way, the mentally ill, which in that case was actually, you had two people there that could have been victims disproportionately, are affected more. People that have the mental issues, the cops don't know how to react to them because they're acting irrationally and they're perceived as a threat. And there's no time to pause. Hey, is this person mentally sound? I don't have time to pause, shoot, okay? I perceive a threat that is unconscious, not because the guy's necessarily racist or has done anything overt. Shoot. What I'm asking you to do is to pause. And like we used to in the old days, put your hands up. Freeze, it's the police. So, and by the way, part of it, the jumpiness of the cops, I understand, not just because of Dallas and Baton Rouge, they were jumpy way before that. And in those cases, you had snipers and you had trained Marines who were shooting at them. It wasn't a situation where it's a traffic stop or anything like this. Part of the reason the cops are jumpy is because everybody's got a gun. So when you got a country where everybody's armed, they think, oh my God, I gotta shoot because the guy's got a gun. I don't want it to be me. So the two answers to me are relatively obvious, but I know it'll be great dispute, which is let's fix the training and the culture in the police department. And secondly, I would argue that if everybody's got a gun, more people are likely to shoot first, ask questions later, because they're afraid they don't want to get shot first. Less guns.
We need to retrain police. Just because we've done things for a certain amount of time and for a period of American history doesn't mean we need to keep doing them the same way. This conflict resolution is different in other countries. It's aided massively by the fact that they're far less worried that those people who they come into conflict with have guns. The idea of shoot to kill, like it's used as an instant mechanism here when people don't have guns if you're going to fire your gun, you got to aim center mass, you got to shoot to kill. Okay, maybe that's, but maybe not.
Maybe not. And by the way, here, they didn't shoot to kill, which I suppose we should give some sort of credit for. It's a very...
Or he missed. We don't know, right?
Was that intentional? We don't know.
No, I'm saying once he's on the ground and he's already been shot in the leg,
right, they
normally come in and go boom, boom, boom and finish him off.
Look at
what happened with Fresno.
That's right, totally. it's crazy that we have to give them credit.
We have to give them credit for not executing him on the spot. Yeah. That's the sad state of affairs in America today.
I have to add one more thing, though. He was put in handcuffs after he was shot.
That's also standard operating procedure.
I know it is. It is. And
that's why we should change it.
That's why we absolutely do need to change it. And there needs to be some component of human judgment in cases like that. It can't be standard operating procedure to immediately handcuff someone that you might have mistakenly shot.
Or let's handcuff everyone who's got a life-threatening injury. People have a heart attack. First thing to do, handcuff them.
Yeah, so guys, you have to understand something. We're not saying don't handcuff anybody.
No.
Of course not.
Of course not.
And there are situations where you have to shoot someone.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is be a little bit careful about it. In the Philando Castile situation, you want to go get his gun and then get him an ambulance. Go, and take care of him.
Yeah.
And do a tourniquet, do CPR, whatever, right?
Move.
Instead, they spend all their time keeping the gun to his head and then arresting or at least detaining his girlfriend and wasting all that time when there didn't appear to be any visible threat from a dead guy and his girlfriend who's recording it.
Not a dead guy, a dying guy.
A dying guy.
Worse,
right.
Yes.
So, you said, be more, be slower, but like it's more whatever words you use, but it's so much more than that. Like, and I know you said it earlier, I'm not contradicting you. It's got to be a commitment to training, and guess what that's going to cost? Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to retrain every police force across the country. And I got news for you. I wouldn't leave it up. I don't think you would either. I don't think I'd leave it up to Dallas and Minneapolis and Baton Rouge to do this on their own. This is federal mandates. Give them the money, then they can do it. But they're going to need the money to do it. And that's going to require all of us to commit to spend more of our tax dollars on it. This is because it's going to take a generation of new police officers who are trained in this method to get it right, so we stop shooting so many people.
Yeah, and I want to bring up an example of something that did work. There was a great report by AJ Plus, a great video that we actually covered last year, that showed a specific city in Texas realizing that its law enforcement had an issue with dealing with individuals that had mental health problems. And so they're like, you know what? We realize that there is no standard way of, training officials throughout the country, but why don't we take matters into our own hands and train our cops? And you know what? The amount of shootings dropped. It worked. And so they knew how to recognize someone when they were actually an imminent threat to the cop or when they were someone who was suffering from a mental health issue. So that's what you need to do. It's not meant to demonize all cops. It's not meant to put them down. Of course they're good cops. It just means that we have a problem and we need to solve it. So let's approach the training differently. That's all it is.